Hello. Welcome to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner. And Sean, this video is a little bit of kind of a vlog. We'll call this a vlog. It's a vlog. It's a vlog. So let me tell you what's been going on with me and why also too a lot of these videos when it comes to Real Housewives have been delayed. It's been a very busy month for me. Really, it's been a very busy year so far. When it comes to like my day-to-day job, and then also to, you already know, this, me getting the house, and putting it together and getting it done, which, side note, I don't think y'all even know. And I'm not going to give you all my business of the before and afters of it all, because child, I don't need you in my business like that, for real. But just know this, that, or really, I guess that. This is a mirror, by the way, just in case y'all didn't realize this. So what you're seeing is actually the other wall, part of the other wall. But like that curtain, the pictures everywhere, half the furniture, I either put that together or I build it myself or I paint it myself. And I've been doing all that and have been doing that since like March. So yeah, your girl's been really busy, and I'm still managing to run and go to the gym every so often. The gym, child, that routine will probably not really be fully routined up until like next month, realistically. And even then, the summer months is when I don't really go to the gym that crazy. I go to the gym more in the winter months, to be truthfully and honest. But like biking and like running, those things we'll get back to for sure. But anyway, the other things I've had going on though is I had some fun. I went and saw Beyonce. That's why the hair is this way. So I'll put the pictures up of what I did. I don't want to do the videos though, because I don't want to get flagged. But I did definitely film the show of the Cowboy Carter tour. I'll probably so y'all saw that. But yeah, no, I had the opportunity to go see Beyonce, and I've never went and saw her before, and it was a true bucket list thing I've always wanted to do. It was worth it. I went on a day where we had a weather delay, like a crazy weather delay. So that day getting ready was a crazy, for one, it was a crazy week to begin with, because the weather was ridiculously nice. I think that was the last time I filmed, was that week where I was trying to figure out how to film and all that, because it's just been a really nice week when it comes to the weather. Now the weather is back to being okay, but it's not summer weather yet. But it was summer weather that day. It was in the 80s that day. It actually got up to the 90s, to the point where, and you already know, when weather just goes rapidly up, well, maybe some of y'all don't know, but if that happens and you're in the Midwest, that creates funnel clouds, aka tornado warning. So we went on to a whole entire tornado warning during, as the show is supposed to be getting ready. And for those who aren't familiar, let me explain why that's an issue. So the show's at Soldier Stadium or Soldier Field, and that's where the Bears play. Okay, and well, for now, because they are planning on actually tearing down Soldier and they're going to redo it. Finally, they should have did it when they got the okay years and years ago. But child, Chicago and the way they do things. When you live here, you understand that this is not that surprising that they do stuff like this. But after losing out money, lots and lots of revenue for not doing it originally, because the reason why they are doing it has nothing to do with like concerts or anything like that, has everything to do with the NFL and us being able to have a Super Bowl. We'll never be able to have a Super Bowl with Soldier being the way it is because it's one of the most outdated stadiums in the country. And has been. It was even outdated when they did it. And it never, at that time when they, decided not to do that, this is my little side rant before we get back to the Beyonce of it all, because it all ties in together. But when they decided to not redo Soldier back when they, had the opportunity to do it the first time, I was floored that they decided not to do that. Because it's like, do you understand how much money you're going to be losing out to because you're not doing this? And I don't understand that. I never understood why they did that. Why they just weren't going to do it. And as someone who's been to a stadium that's been redone, so like Lucas Oil, because you already know I'm from Indiana. I'm an Indiana girl. By the way, go Pacers. I really want the Pacers to beat the Knicks. I know they lost yesterday, but I need the Pacers to beat the Knicks. But anyway. Neither here nor there. But back to that. So I was talking about like how Lucas Oil, they actually, like, the Colts played in another stadium before in Indianapolis, and then they built Lucas Oil. And as someone who's been in one of those nicer, newer type stadium situations, Lucas Oil is nice. Like, nice. There was one weekend years and years and years ago where I was dating someone pretty seriously, and he was a Bears fan and I was a Colts fan. It's back when I watched football. I don't watch it like that anymore. I actually only watch the Super Bowl now at this point. But at the time, I was your sports girl. I was watching it like all the time. And but when Colin Kaepernick kneeled, I did too, and I never got back into it as a result. So that's kind of what happened there. But anyway, I went to a game here where if they would have won, they would have went to the playoffs. And of course they lost. And it was against Green Bay. And it was like, and how many fights I saw broke out in that stadium at Soldier was hilarious. But that day, again, we're tying it all together. The weather was horrible. The day before, the weather was like in the 40s. The next day, this is the winter, by the way, because you already know the timing of the playoffs and everything. It was in the 20s, and I'm in Soldier, and it's an outside stadium. I was so cold. I'm so surprised I did not get frostbitten. It was bad, but we did. I wanted to go to a Bears game. And that was the Bears game to go to. And I think I was the one who got the tickets, I think. Pretty sure I got that for my ex at the time. And then he reversed it. And then a week later, we had the opportunity to go see the Colts play against the Kansas City Chiefs during the playoffs, back when Andrew Luck was playing. And the way I was like, I'm in heated seats in this stadium. There's a monitor here that I could watch the game if I miss something over here, but then I could still see everything right here. And the tickets were way cheaper because Indiana's just cheaper. Like, to the point where, to put in perspective, if I was really a huge basketball person, like a Pacers fan, I'm not really a huge Pacers fan like that for real, even though I'm from Indiana. I'm just going to always cheer for them over the Knicks. it's just inherently I have to do that. But in general, I'm not a Pacers fan. I am not. I just like basketball, like truthfully. I would love to be a Bulls fan, but they don't give me a reason for me to cheer for them. But anyway, but to add perspective, when it comes to Indiana, I went and saw what the tickets were to go to a playoffs game for the NBA. It's affordable. I almost thought about going down and going to this game yesterday. I almost thought about it because it was a weekend. I was like, I could go and, stay the night and then come back up. Or I could just go to the game and then drive back up afterwards. I thought about it because I was like, it wouldn't be that hard. But I also was like, I don't care that much. I don't care enough to do all that. But I thought about it because the tickets weren't that bad. But back to the other thing about, that's why a playoff ticket was way cheaper in a very much nicer stadium than Soldier. Back to why I brought that up to begin with, though. So guess what? Because there's a storm outside, there was a weather delay, and those who thought they were going to be on time and be ahead of things and make sure they got into the stadium at a decent time for Beyonce, those people who were there early had to stand there in the crappy weather. Because it's an outdoor stadium. But fortunately, my friends who I went and saw Beyonce with they're veterans of going to Soldier Field concerts, and they went and saw the Renaissance. They did all that before. They were like, we're not going right now. She's not going to be on stage 10:30. We'll wait it out. So and I'm glad we did. But child, that's why I bring up. I'm looking forward to when Soldier is no longer an outdoor stadium that doesn't have a enclosed top. I need when the weather to happen, it doesn't delay other things, because that concert did not end until 1:30 in the morning, and it was on a Thursday. But was it worth it? 1,000%. Did I plan ahead for this kind of thing? Absolutely. I already had Friday off, because as soon as I found out I was going to see Beyonce, I took Friday off. Just because I knew no matter what time it was going to be that the show was over with, it was going to take forever for me to be able to get home. And I will get into that later on, but let's get into the show itself, because I just had to give you a little bit of a backstory of why the weather delays when you have a stadium that just has not been updated and now is so horribly outdated. It was already outdated back when they were propositioned to change that stadium years and years ago. And I mean, when I say years ago, I'm pretty sure this was in the 2010s. When they were asked to do something and they did nothing. And that's me being nice. I think it was even before that when they were asked to do something and Chicago decided not to do that. And now they're finally doing something. After multiple threats about the team moving to play somewhere else because of the stadium being so horribly outdated. The way the self-sabotage here happens is unreal. But anyway, moving on. So the show itself. Okay. So I had my outfit on. And I had cowboy boots. And those cowboy boots, child, I had to recover. I had to take a whole entire day to recover from wearing those damn cowboy boots. But worth it. I would do it again. Would totally do that again. Would do that again and again and again. So it was totally worth it. But what I was going to say, though, is that after, once we were there, the show was amazing. I got to show you something. Hold on. Ooh. All right. I almost fell in that chair. But, sorry. So like this is what we got. And this is like a light thing, so it's like doing this thing. And so basically where I was seated at, I was not seated on the floor. I was seated above. But that is the advantage of when you're seated above versus the floor. You get to see like the visuals. And Beyonce's visuals are visualing. When I say that was probably the best show when it comes to like performance, stage, all that I've ever seen in real life. Yeah. Beyonce is one of the best performers, period. I'm sorry. There's no one, like, she's top 3 and she's not the 2 or 3. Especially this generation. Now, previous generations, I can't speak to that. I know Janet had her moment back in her time, and I love seeing Janet, and I saw Janet in recent years, but like, she doesn't do all of what Beyonce does. Michael, unfortunately, never got the chance to see him. I can see why there would be an argument there, but when it comes to all of it, Beyonce's killing it. And then she also has her daughter, the manager, just on stage, just killing it too. And her daughter was on there, like, it's not like she was barely in the show. She was in the show like a lot. And then Ruby was on was there too. I was like, "Where's Sir?" Sir Davis, her liquor made an appearance, but not Sir. But yeah, it was a really, really cool, fun show. I enjoyed it. I thought I was on concert because I was dancing my behind off, no pun intended. Had my hoochie daddy shorts on. Didn't care because I was like, I will wear this for Beyonce. What I wore was for Beyonce. I would never do that if it wasn't for her. But all that was for her. Okay? Like, you see what I was wearing? That was for her. Okay? Me being 40 plus, you're not going to be seeing me wearing stuff like that anymore. Not regularly anyway. But yeah, so it was cool. I loved the show. It was amazing. It was definitely worth it. I would do it again. Now, as far as why I go to another Soldier Field concert in the near future, yeah, but I'm treating it like a marathon. I gotta forget how I felt about the last marathon before I get back to it. Because honestly, before this show, I was debating to go see Kendrick and SZA. I was debating to go to that show. And after how much of a hassle was get out of that stadium, I'm okay. I can wait. So that's kind of how I felt about that. It was worth it. It was amazing. Now getting out of there was a nightmare. I did not get home till 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, 4 o'clock in the morning. Isn't that crazy? So how that happened is because after the show, it takes forever to get out of Soldier, number one. Number two, where it's located in the city, it's located kind of like, well, it's in Grant Park. But Grant Park, as far as like where it's at location-wise to like the trains and stuff, it's the South Loop where it's at. So, well, it's not even Grant Park. It's outside Grant Park. It's definitely more of the South Loop areas where like Soldier's at. Soldier's more closer to like the South Loop of it all. And, but it's a pain in the butt to get anywhere. And I actually ended up going to my friend's house in the South neighborhood to go to the show just because I know it was going to be quicker to get there. And then to get out, it actually still would be quicker. And so I still had to go back to their place to get my car and then go back home because I'm on the north side. I'm not close to Soldier. And so because the show was let out so late, the trains are not running like that. And if you're doing any other trains outside of like the red line, you're in trouble. And I'm now a brown line person, and the red line was not coming frequently either because again, it's a Thursday, it's not a weekend. So the only option we have after that is Lyft or Uber. And with Lyft and Uber, they had surge prices. They were trying to charge us $70-something to get from where we're at to their place, which is only like 10 minutes away. So guess what? We waited until the surge went down, which that took a long time for us to wait. We waited about an hour, I think, for the surge to go down, at least. And then it went from 70 something to like $11. The normal price. Yeah. And we had to wait for the driver too, because it took forever because there were so many cars and so many people. And so that's the other reason why, as much as I love Beyonce, it's going to take a lot in the future for me to go to see someone at Soldier. Until they redo that stadium, because also too, getting in and out of Soldier is just not easy. There's really not that many. I'm surprised that it hasn't gotten in trouble for it being kind of fire hazardy, because it's not there's not a lot of exits. It's really hard to get in and out of that stadium. Lucas Oil, by comparison, Lucas Oil, you can get in and out of there pretty quickly. And that's a much bigger stadium, and it's just a modern stadium. And there's just a difference between a stadium being modern and not being modern. So that's the other thing. But anyway, I kind of just wanted to mention all that just because that also is contributing to why I'm not going to go see Kendrick and SZA now, because of I now know what it's like to go to a Soldier Field concert. And you have to be like a bucket list artist for me to want to see you. And Kendrick is, but like, I'm not going to do a Soldier show twice in 1 year. I will never do it. And also too, that's like only maybe 3 weeks apart. And it has nothing to do with the pricing of the tickets. It has more to do with just like what I just mentioned. It's a pain in the butt. And mind you, when I was doing all this, I had cowboy boots on. Cowboy boots are not the most comfortable, just be standing on concrete for hours. And it's not like I was just standing, I was dancing. I thought I was on stage. And I didn't have a voice the next morning either. It was a whole entire thing. But anyway, I wish that was the end of the weekend, but that weekend was just beginning because I overbooked myself like crazy that week. So let's get into what else I did. So then the next thing we did is I actually had something planned out where a makeup artist wanted to use me as their model and help with them getting basically a makeup job. And I do need to reach out to them, find out what the update of that was. But basically, I had my makeup done, and I felt so bad because I did show up like I was like 5 minutes late. I think 5 to 10 minutes late. But like once I explained everything, she was like, "Oh, wow, that's crazy." But anyway, she still ended up doing an amazing job. She was like, "Your skin is amazing. It's not like I need to do as much. I thought I need you to come earlier because I thought I need to do all this stuff with your skin, but it turns out I don't need to do all that. I probably just need to cover a little bit of the patches you got right here because, child, you could tell I was tired because, again, I did not get to bed until like maybe like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And then this makeup thing was like scheduled for like 12. So I had to get all my looks together too, because she wanted to do multiple looks for like my makeup. And so we did do that. It was a great time. The makeup turned out amazing, and I'll show you pictures of what it gave and the different and then the different looks I had. Different looks I had. Here. Okay. But yeah, so then after that, then I did nothing the rest of that day. I went back home and did nothing because I was just so tired. I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. That was just my mood. I was like, I am tired because I really was tired. I was like, oh my God, I'm just exhausted right now. And then I did nothing that Saturday. And then that Sunday, I went and saw this amazing play. I went to like the Steppenwolf, and for those who don't know, that is like one of the theaters here in the city. Chicago's known for the theaters, especially improv theaters, but they also have plenty of just theaters everywhere here in the city. And the Steppenwolf is one of the best theaters in the city. And one of my friends actually happens to work there. And so they're like, let me know if you ever want a show that you want to go to. I'll get you tickets. I was like, okay, thank you. And so got me tickets. I brought my other friend with because I knew she would love this show, because I actually kind of got a preview what the show was going to be about. I was like, oh yeah, she has to come with me, because I already know how she is, and I already know that this show will be up her alley. I was like, oh yeah, I will invite her to this show. And so we went to this show, and it was amazing. It was amazing. And then before the show, we had some drinks at the bar, and along with my friend who helped supply the tickets. And it was a good time. It was a very, very good time. So, but yeah, that was my weekend, and that was kind of a little bit of a day in the life of me in the city. I think this week, with the holiday, I've been actually trying to keep it low key. I built my sofa that's in my other room, and then I also built a kitchen island, and that's done. So my place is coming together over the weekend. I did a lot of cleaning around here, like just detail cleaning stuff that I kind of been putting off. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go finally do some things, and yeah, it's been really, really cool. But anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say here for today. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. And hopefully I'll bring you some more vlogs pretty soon. I have a half marathon I'm running next weekend, and I have not been running much, like at double digits that is. So this half marathon is going to be rough. And also I saw the weather for next week supposed to be in the 80s. Running a half marathon in the 80s. Yeah, it's going to be rough, but we're going to get it done. We're going to see it through. It'll be fine. But anyway, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. Bye. But I can also see the bones again.